Hi there, everybody. My name is Sipho Ngwenya, and welcome to another episode of MultiTalks. On this platform, we delve into some of the initiatives being led by the MultiChoice Group on the African continent. On today's episode, we'll be chatting to Lindiwe Dube, who is one of the leading faces of sports broadcasting on the African continent. We'll be chatting about her time in the industry and what she's doing to uplift the next generation of sports broadcasters. Lindiwe Dube, welcome to MultiTalks.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's not every day that your former boss gets to interview.
I win. That's so funny.
Yeah, for those who don't know. Now
Okay, so now you're talking of home ground days.
Yeah.
I'm glad you raised that, right? Because that's where I met you, but that's obviously not where your story starts. And you know about the show, of course. So let's kind of rewind the clock a bit before we get into the official business of the day. Lindiwe Dube, where do you come from? And how did you enter this, this lovely industry of ours?
Is it lovely? Yeah, I'm kidding.
It's how you look at it, right?
Of course, it's amazing. Sure, where do I even start, Sipho? I'm a township girl. I was born, bred and battered in Davidson, east of Joburg. I grew up there. I'm one of 4 siblings, raised by a single mom. I've got 2 sisters, 1 brother. Yeah, life was beautiful. I wouldn't say I had a tough upbringing. Maybe the background somewhat. I grew up in a township. There are certain things that we didn't have. There are certain luxuries we didn't have, like traveling during the December holidays or Easter holidays. So I think that exposed me then to football mostly, because we didn't have much to do during the holidays. So you essentially go watch football, we call it a groundini because so it's not like a stadium or anything.
The dusty thing.
Dusty.
Yeah.
So that's where it all started. I mean, it was a weekend thing, and then it was like a festive holiday thing. And I think then my love for football, started with football, that's where, it was sort of established. And I was like, oh, okay, this is interesting, and it's something different. That's where it all started. And then to break into the industry, I got in via the YFM Y Academy. Okay. But I didn't make it the first 2 times, so I entered 3 times. And then I made it the 3rd time, which was an internship program for about 6 months. Yeah, so we interned for 6 months. I was in the news department. So with the Y Academy, what essentially happens is you spend 2 weeks in each department. So you'll spend 2 weeks in technical, you spend 2 weeks in news, you spend 2 weeks in copywriting. But I wanted myself in the newsroom because that's where everything happens, right? That's where I met. Okay, so when I got to Y, Thato Moeng had already left. Munsidisi Hono had already left.
I'm sure Ojimelefe had left already.
Was OG at Y?
Yeah, he was at Y.
Was he at Y when?
What Fresh? On Fresh's show.
No, that's 90s. I wasn't at Y then. I joined YFM in October 2012.
Exposing my age.
Hey, we're not. So I joined YFM in October 2012 through the Y Academy. I auditioned, eventually got in the 3rd time, which is, so when I got there, Muteo Kwadipe was there. Muteo was in the newsroom, and I was just constantly bugging them. I'm like, hey, I know nothing about journalism. I wanna learn how to write, how to read a story. And I remember my former editor saying, this girl is so loud. We're not gonna have you on air. Your voice is just so high pitched. And I was like, yeah, but teach me, Machova. I want to learn. And he was like, this girl is just, you're all over the place and, you're just loud, And I remember Muteo Kwadipe took me down, sent me down. He works at, 702, ne? He works at 702 now, but he was at YFM when we met. And he sat me down and it was like, okay, this is what happens in broadcasting, blah, blah, blah. And I remember vividly because, Muteo was like, guys, Muteo. Okay, and then we sat down. It taught me how to write. It's like, okay, this is, what happens, blah, 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 blah. When we got into the news booth, he just taught me, it's like, okay, you need to slow down because you're too fast and, and this and that. So I was constantly then in the newsroom. Then I think I spent half of my internship at YFM in the newsroom because I was like, I don't want to go anywhere else. I know I don't want to do technical. I know I don't want to be an on-air presenter. I want to be an on-air sports presenter. And so I stuck there in the newsroom, even during the December holidays. Like I would make coffee, because that's what we essentially do as an intern. People say, I make coffee,
You bust around.
Yeah, and I was young. I was in my early 20s, and I didn't mind. I was like, I'm just excited to be here. I think we all grew up listening to YFM, like you said, Tato and Tato, all these big brands. And it's like, I was obsessed with YFM for a very long time before I even joined the station. Like, I was obsessed. So I think I knew the entire lineup, weekday, weekends. And I was like, So when I got there, I was like, I'm here, And for someone who comes from a township, and I was like, you think certain things are unattainable, because it's like, okay, I grew up watching Sipho on YoTV. I'm not going to make it to YoTV one day because I come from a township. I'm not as eloquent as Sipho is, But then when I got there, I was like, okay, this is where I want to be. Like, I want to be in the broadcasting industry. I enjoy this. Like, I'm very inquisitive. I'm willing to learn, I'm passionate about this. And I really want to do something about it, then YFM 2012, 2013, 14. And then left YFM 2014. I was unemployed for a couple of months. And I went through a lot, bruh. Like, I went through a lot. But in hindsight, it's okay. It's okay to go through some situations, because if not me, then who, I was in my early 20s, so it's fine. And then the multi-choice Disky Challenge auditions. I remember watching SuperSport Blitz. And I see this, call for auditions. I'm like, multi-choice Disky Challenge, what's that? Now they're advertising, we're going to have a presenter search. We're looking for 2 new presenters in Madeira. Like, okay, this is my chance. Super Sports has always been the dream, I grew up watching Robert Marawa, Carol Shavalalas, and Tadu's here, Tadu's from YFM. Motsidisi is also like a YFM baby. And I was like, okay, but I don't have a TV background, and it's live TV, So I was like, okay, let me give it a shot. I've got nothing to lose. I'm at home. I applied. We actually auditioned here by Studio 6. I think the first set of auditions were on a Thursday. Auditioned, okay. I think there were like about 400 people.
Sure, that's a lot.
That's a lot, Sipho. That's a lot.
Sure, it's very intimidating at the same time, right?
Of course.
The chances.
Of course, 100%. Because you get there and like Sipho is like well put off, and here you are when this tiny little girl, you don't have an expensive weave or whatnot. But I was like, Lindiwe, just relax and stay in your lane. You know why you're here. You know what you bring to the table. And I was like, okay, I know what I want. This is what I want. I know I've done my research. Because you could hear from the conversations, people are like, some of them are like just taking chances. People just want to be on TV.
Correct.
But I also feel like with sports, you can't cheat it. It's not like entertainment where you can just say, Doja Cat won this award or whatever.
You need to know your stuff.
You need to know your stuff. I was like, okay. Then now the confidence started to build up. I'm like, okay. Then we get the audition. We make the next round of auditions. We're like, now it's getting real, And it was so scary. It was such a scary process, because then we had to like have a sort of live audition where you're listening to your director, you have a production assistant in your ear. Now you need to be aware of the cameras. Like, okay, stand by 4, where's 4, stand by 3, it's a lot coming from a radio background, because no one could see me in the news booth. So now I'm on TV and I'm like, okay, where's camera 4, where's 1, where's 3, it's a lot, I was like, okay, just keep calm. So then that went well. Then I started working at SuperSport in September 2014 through the MultiChoice Disky Challenge, which is now the DSTV Disky Challenge. And the rest, as they say, is history.
Sure. It's a lovely story, right, that you tell. And for me, like, while I'm listening to you, I can also see the passion in your eyes, how your eyes are watery, etc. So you really do care about the craft, right? And I also think to myself, like, you come from the East. Who about clever in the East, right? And I think of just like the amount of talent that comes from the East. Also, there's musicians, people like Questa and
Lemu Matosa.
There's too many, right?
Yeah.
So, but why sports?
Sure. I think for me, it's such a niche market. And growing up, we didn't have a lot of representation. I think we only saw Carol Shabalala and Cynthia Chaka. They were like the only 2 women of color on TV back then, because we're like, okay, it's Carol Shabalala. And here you are wanting to break into this industry, which is a male-dominated industry. Like, who do you think you are? But I mean, you look at how things have changed in recent years, and it's like yeah, it's unbelievable, Sipho. It's really unbelievable. And I think for me, like you said, the passion, I feel like outweighs everything else, because you don't wake up and just decide, okay, today I'm shooting with Lindiwe, and the passion has to be there. Like, it will show on camera. From how you conduct yourself, the work that you put in will show, the effort that you put in will show on camera, because people can easily say, Sipho didn't do his research, like he's just thumb-sucking things. You can hear he didn't watch the last game. You can hear he doesn't know how Sundowns played or where they finished last season. Do you get what I mean?
Correct.
Like, you can't cheat it. You absolutely cannot cheat it. So yeah, you respect the craft, and like, yeah.
And now let's get into, because you touched on it just a bit, right, in terms of this industry being a male dominated industry in terms of sports presenters on air.
Yes.
All right. But now we've seen the shift in the last couple of years, and I just think about how, the impact of the multi-choice Diski challenge, as you call it, the DSTV Diski challenge, playing its part also, right, in terms of trying to upscale and to change the status quo. What have you observed about this, and what can you say about the job that is being done from that perspective?
I think we're so blessed to work for an organization that is so committed to women empowerment, because with the Diski challenge, they were not only upskilling us talent on air, on air talent. It was also behind the scenes. We were working with young producers. Nonocele Baba, she's a producer, she's a director, she's worked now on amazing big projects. There were camera operators who we all started with, EVS operators, production assistants. So I think that has been definitely the highlights. We all started together, and it's not just the on-air talent, but the people behind the scenes as well. And I think MultiChoice has continued with that legacy over the years, because we're seeing more and more young people, especially women, breaking into the industry and working for this cool organization.
Look, and we've praised, the great work that has been done by the Diski Challenge. But what more do you think still needs to happen, in terms of trying to make equal the playing fields?
I think, okay, let me speak from a Banyana perspective.
Okay.
Before we move on. I just feel like, because some of our athletes, Sipho, have 9 to 5s, and I just feel like it's not fair.
It's quite sad.
Like, it's not fair, because Bafana athletes can only focus on, football. They play football Monday to Sunday, and that's it. But why do we have our athletes, WAFCON winning team in 2022 now having jobs? I do feel that there's always like more to be done when it comes to that aspect, even with brands, because I see now I'll make an example with Coca-Cola, for instance, what they've done with the Springboks, partnering with them. It's not just the Springboks. Yes, we've got this World Cup winning team, but they're also saying we are willing to invest in the Bok women. We're investing in the, under 20, under 20. And it's so beautiful. So I think for me, in terms of like football, women's football, there's a lot of work that needs to be done. There's a lot of work, like basic things these women struggle with. And I just feel like, why in 2025, why are we struggling with such basic things, where men can get all these accolades and endorsements and whatnots, but like women are struggling with basic things,
and it's such a great point that because we do see some work being done at some level, but as you say, there is still a lot that needs to be happening. Unfortunately, I don't think these things are going to happen overnight, but as long as the effort is still there, right, and the intent. And I go back to the conversation that we also had with Urendani, who was sitting on that chair in one of our episodes, and he also spoke about the level of investment that MultiChoice has put into sports, the sports broadcasting on the continent, right? And we're seeing things are happening, but from a continent level, what have you observed that is actually positive?
Sure, from a continent level, I think the appointment of Patrice Motsepe, I think since his appointment, we are seeing a lot of visibility when it comes to women's football. And I think previously you'd have a WAFCON, only selected matches televised. But now you watch all the matches live, in real time. So I think we have seen like positive changes from him. The prize money has increased. There's new trophies. Women's sports is taken, a bit more seriously. Unlike before, where we were only televising maybe Banyana games.
Correct.
And I think the visibility also just helps in terms of, growing our athletes' brands as well, because you look at some of the Nigeria, like some of our girls, as well as some other athletes from either West Africa or East Africa, they play in big leagues abroad. So I think that has, definitely been a positive in recent years when it comes to like women's sports, because you have the likes of Thembi Kgatlana who's playing abroad, Linda Motlalo, some of the Nigerian athletes as well. So I think it has a lot to do with that airtime, because obviously brands and teams are seeing them more often now, because it's like, hey, CAF is, upping their game. So yeah, I think there has been positive change in recent years.
And now when it comes to on the field stuff, right?
Yeah.
They still, and this is maybe possibly just my personal observation, but you still do see a bit of conflict that is presented on the field, right? In terms of game tactics and off the field tactics between nations. Why is that still the case now when I think we've advanced so much, right?
We have, but not entirely, because you look at South Africa, we don't have a netball league that runs for like 9-10 months, like our football league. Do you get what I mean? We don't have a women's football league that's going to run for like the same way as Betway Premiership. I mean, I was recently working on the varsity women's football, and they were playing a game every day for like 4 days back to back. But then you look at the men's tournament, they play once a week. Do you get what I mean?
It's too much. Yeah.
It's too much, even with the netball as well, because then you playing multiple games back to back. So the recovery time is not as good as the gents, because they're getting a few days rest. Now you're traveling in between all these games. You're traveling whether to Western Cape or Durban or whatever. You're playing and then back to the hotel. And then next morning you're playing again. Yeah. But we're not doing that too. Do you get what I mean?
I get you, yeah.
So yeah, man, it starts small. It starts with those little things, and that we need to fix. If we are saying a men's tournament is going to run for 9 weeks, why can't we do the same for women?
Correct.
Correct. Like our netball girls are now off now representing the Spa Proteas, and you're like, okay, we don't even have a professional league. How do we then compete with New Zealand and Australia and England? Do you get what I mean?
And they come with a very high level of competitive.
Exactly, because now they're playing regularly. They're playing in big leagues every weekend. But now, when there's no netball league happening, how do we expect them to stay in shape and be competitive?
Now, let's just talk about some of the shifts that have happened, right? And we think about the impact of technology on sport. Yeah. And in your industry, it's quite a lot. Right?
Yeah.
I just think about every day there's a new sports podcast.
Yeah.
Right? Which is great because it now means that sports is getting the visibility that it needs, right? But can you talk to us about how that has impacted the traditional sports media platforms?
I think everything and everyone evolves, and it's good. I mean, we are moving with the times. For instance, social media is now like mainstream media because news break on social media. Correct. Do you get what I mean? If a player is signed, we'll find out on Twitter before you wait for 7 o'clock. I mean, I'm not going to wait for 7 o'clock to get home and watch the news. Or you listen to radio, and then you have to wait for top of the hour to hear the news. But now we all on our phones because we are, tech savvy and stuff. So I feel like social media has also played a great, role in the visibility of just sports. And we are evolving and just moving with the times. And we all live on our phones, guys. Digital media has taken over. So news break online before. Yeah. So I think it's been great.
But now when we internalize it, how can we now use that to our advantage as MultiChoice?
Well, we've got digital platforms. We've got SuperSport Unplugged. We've got MultiTalks, where we are, obviously sharing our content. So if people have missed a goal or whatever, we are putting it out there through Twitter, our digital platforms on Twitter and Facebook. So yeah, I think we are doing well as a brand. With the highlights and stuff, man. I think that's so far so good.
And would you? Because I know that there sometimes is this comparison, right? What would you say the is valuable, right, about some of the podcast or vodcast sports personalities? What do they bring to the industry?
I think somewhat we are getting pretty much the same amount of content because we all watch the same game, right? Correct. So what I am now reviewing on my show, and someone will do that on Monday, I think the only difference then is that they're not live, maybe. Do you get what I mean? But in terms of prep, we watch the same games, the same scoreline. We know who scored. We know what happened the last time these two sides met. Do you get what I mean? And also, if you are giving us false information, people online will go in and like, how, Sipho, which game were you watching? Do you get what I mean? And obviously, as a media house or as a show, you obviously want to be credible, right?
Correct.
So yeah, I think we are getting somewhat the same context.
So now, talking about like your involvement in sports, and you do mention that you went through some kind of a development program, right, on another platform. What are you doing in terms of trying to upskill or mentor other kids who want to be in the same position as you? Is there any work and no pressure, right?
Yeah, there's pressure. Hey, the pressure. Like I'm still a newbie, hey? Easy. Like I'm not
Whose doors are you opening?
I'm joking.
Yeah.
Yeah, to be honest, I do feel like we are vessels, and I think I have contributed previously, like this is like pre-pregnancy, right? Because like post-pregnancy, things have been different. But I wouldn't say I had a mentorship program, but I had a few girls that I mentored. Even now when SuperSport had the MVP search, people would come to me for advice. Hey, Lindiwe, we want to enter. What are the do's and don'ts and whatnots? And I'm always available to help. On match days, I'm always willing to have people come shadow me, people who want to break into this industry. I'm always open to having people come shadow me and see, how a live production comes together. Yeah, so that's what I've been doing over recent years. And the girls that I've worked with have done really well, Unoglunga Ngobo is at Mix FM. She's there. Unkateko does work with Safa Eguruleni.
Lovely.
Karabo just graduated from UCT. Yeah, so I've got there's a few girls that I've worked with, and then now recently with the MVP search, I was helping here and there.
So now you're doing this in your personal capacity, right?
Yeah.
But what do you think, how can brands also contribute towards this cause? And it may not have necessarily have to be your initiatives, but do you feel like there's still more work that needs to be done at that level for brands to contribute towards the development of young sports broadcasters or even sports stars?
And sports stars. Yeah, I mean, even the best athletes will tell you that there's always room for improvement or room for growth. I think, yeah, there's plenty of work to be done. One brand that like sticks out now is Momentum. They're sponsoring our Proteas, the Proteas cricket team. And they have like workshops every now and then during Women's Month. But the thing is, we don't want it to be like a Women's Month thing. We don't want it to be a once-off thing,
Yeah.
Maybe once every quarter, have something. So I think Momentum have done that really well over the years. Yeah, they invest in women's sports, like, yeah. So yeah, I definitely think that there's still more to be done.
And now talking just about, because I mean, you're the one who mentioned it. So there was pre-pregnancy. Lindiwe, now we are talking to a mom, Lindiwe,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
How has this impacted how has you being a mother, right, impacted your career?
Sure, motherhood is a lot. It's beautiful, it's rewarding, but it's also like demanding, especially in our work, Sipho, where you are moving from one province to another. I've got an OB tomorrow in Bloem, and then I'm back, and then I'm in Soweto for another production. Rest day on Saturday, and then I'm in studio on Sunday for Fad Base. It's a lot. It's a lot. My son is 2 now. He's 2.5, 30 months old. And
Do you feel like you're missing out a bit in terms of
somewhat
personal growth? Yeah.
No, not his personal growth. Well, now that he's older, I think I've just been also blessed to be, present, because I'd like to think I'm a present mom. Yes, I'm busy, but I made time for like school runs, I made time for like special milestones. I'm there for his birthdays and stuff. I think some miss out, maybe not so much on him, but like work-wise, you do, because I just feel like it is somewhat of a setback, and you just need to prepare yourself like mentally, because certain things are not going to be like before. And I was like, if there's like a major tournament and you're gone for like 2-3 weeks or whatever, then you miss out on parenthood, but then it's like good for work, for your profile and stuff. But motherhood is a lot. Like, it's a lot. Guys, like, I'm a first timer and I'm done, but it's like, it's demanding, because I mean, you've got this 2-year-old that you're raising. He has a routine. He has to be in bed by like 9 o'clock, but then 9 o'clock, that's when Champions League starts. And it's like, okay, this person
Yes, to be in bed before 9 o'clock.
Yes! Do you get what I mean?
Correct, yes.
So it's a lot. And finding balance, has been, I feel like it's an everyday thing. You're constantly learning. You're constantly, learning new ways, learning new routines. You're like, oh, okay, so if we do this, then it means we get more time here. If I do this,
Correct.
But I've been blessed with like amazing family and friends who've really been there for me. Throughout my motherhood journey, my mom is always there. My sister, my friends have really, I've been blessed with a great support structure.
I'm glad you mentioned that, right? So you have this great support structure in terms of trying to balance the motherhood and your
and my life,
career, right? Yeah. But for yourself, though, right? What is it? What distractions do you have? What are the things that you do that kind of like take you away from the work stuff?
Sure. I think it took COVID and motherhood for me to like fully pour into my cup, because my son needs a happy and healthy mom. Do you get what I mean? So I have to show up for myself before I show up for him. So I'm in therapy. I've been in therapy for quite some time now. So I'm still in therapy. I work out. I move my body. I try to eat clean, especially when you are traveling. It's very tricky because you get to production and there's whatever. So
there's hot dogs there.
Yes, So I try, but I think like post-COVID, and just like now, I'm learning to fill up my cup more because there's only one Lindiwe.
Correct.
I prioritize rest. I don't believe in this work. Yeah, as much as we want to be booked and busy, it's also important to like fully get the rest and take things easy. So I have like a day where I'm just a couch potato and it's just me and our dog and my child, and that's it. So yeah, I think motherhood really just taught me to like pause, slow down, and take care of you, because it's a lot. Yeah,
this industry is a lot.
Everything, life is just busy and trying to keep up with everything, friendships, like taking care of you, work, online and whatnot. Gunini.
So now let's go a bit more into that, right? So there was this 18-year-old Lindiwe who wanted to get into this industry, etc. But defining success for you, what did that look like for you then?
I think for me, success was just being happy, because you can have all the money in the world and still be miserable, But I think for me, happiness, time as well. Time is the most valuable thing to me, time with loved ones. I think that was success for me, and just being happy and being present in the moment, because we are so quick to focus on, what's coming up, or what will happen when I have this car, or when I have this job and whatever, but you can have all of that and maybe have like health issues. Now you can't enjoy this job because
you didn't take care of yourself.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think for me, even now, like success is just being content and being happy and being present. And yeah.
Now let's talk about your moments, because you mentioned that you like on the road quite a lot.
Yep.
Just tell us some of your favorite moments, on the field.
I think field work also, because of its unpredictability, every day is just different. Like every day, you don't know what's going to happen. Coach Sipho loses and then he doesn't know what to do his coach post-match interview. Now it's like, okay. They're like, okay, your director's like, Lindy, we'll continue to patch. Sipho's just gone to the bathroom and, okay, we don't know if he's coming back to do the interview or not. Sure. Yeah, man, there's been quite a few moments, and not just like field, but okay. I think the one that like truly stands out was the 2019 Netball World Cup, because I went to Liverpool for that. That was my first like World Cup, because with the 2018 Football World Cup, I had a digital show. So with the Netball World Cup, it felt different. The Sport Proteas did well. And it was just, I think for me, that's like one of the biggest highlights so far in my career. The 2019 Netball World Cup, to be entrusted with that project for about 2-3 weeks is a big deal, And in 2019, I feel like I was still like feeling new, Even now, I don't consider myself as, I'm still learning, taking each day as it comes. So the 2019 World Cup.
Definitely a highlight.
Yeah.
And how do you go about, preparing before you go on TV?
Yes.
Soccer stars will tell you they've got these rituals that they do before.
Yes.
Do you have your own rituals? What is your routine like?
There's a lot of prep that goes into like a production before match day, and I think every broadcaster will tell you this. Mutsidisi, Tatamoe, Mpumaboe, Carol Shabalala, they will all tell you this. There's a lot of prep. Like tomorrow, I'll make an example. I am doing a varsity football match, CUT and UJ. UJ top of the log, CUT haven't won a competition. So prep starts from watching their previous games. Who are the impact players? Why has UCT struggled to get that elusive victory? What about UJ? This is a team that missed out on qualification last year. Now they're back. What's so special about them? There's a lot of work going back to like match day one, doing the research. It's a lot of research because, you're not spoon-fed. We don't have auto cue on match day. So a lot rests on you in terms of, the content that you put out there, because also the viewers are relying on you. You are the source of education and information for us. Now, I'm not sitting at home and paying my DSTV to watch Sipho lie to me and say CUT have won, 2 games when I'm like, hey man, these guys haven't won. So it's a lot of prep. And I remember someone said, Sizwa Mapena actually once said to me, your prep or research will always set you apart from everyone else. And that stuck with me. Motsirisa also said that one time when we worked together on netball. She's like, the one thing that will set you apart from everyone else is your prep. And like I said, you can't cheat it. On camera, it will show, because you absolutely cannot cheat it. It's so visible when you don't know what you're talking about and you just thumb-sucking things. So yeah, there's a lot of prep. There's a lot of prep.
So now, look, without obviously killing your credibility or anything, most sports broadcasters also do have their favorite team. I'm not asking you to tell me who your favorite team is, right? But nonetheless, does that bias in a way get in the way sometimes when you are on the field, where you're like, no man, Chiefs just lost again, and you're this big fan, and then you're like,
no, you have to remain professional. You have to remain professional and do your work, okay?
Yeah.
Because also, if Chiefs is playing against Sundowns, I'm just making an example,
Correct.
and now you are like biased and you're like, oh, coach, disappointing results, whatever. But then what does the Sundowns coach think?
Correct.
Do you get what I mean? Yeah. So credibility is a big thing in our industry. So you have to remain professional at all times and just do the work. And then you'll just cry after. When the camera's off, like, it's this team again. I'm so tired. Yeah. But yeah, you have to stay calm, keep calm, remain professional, and yeah.
All right. So now, off your professional life, what is your source of entertainment? What do you do to?
What do I do? I'm a Game of Thrones person. I love Drive to Survive, Stranger Things.
Okay.
When I'm not working, I try not to consume a lot of sports content. Like I'm catching a break and, just switching off. I do read. I went through a bit of a slump like during my pregnancy, but now I'm like, getting back there slowly. I like spending time with friends, loved ones, friends and family, because you don't see them like that often, when everyone is available. On weekends, you are working. When you are available, everyone else is like unavailable. So I try to like catch up with loved ones. I enjoy traveling. Obviously, I'm a mom, spend a lot of time with my son and our dog. So I really believe in like unwinding and just switching off.
Okay.
Yeah, and just switching off, but like not all the time, because you still want to know what's happening, with the Springboks or, but I do, like, I know when to switch off. I know that. No.
Okay, so
don't play.
Final question.
Already?
Final question. Yes, sir.
Oh, okay.
Look, we've had a great conversation, and I'd love to extend it. Maybe in our next season we'll
Okay.
So, final question: your favorite sports commentator of all time?
Peter Drury.
Poetic, very poetic.
Oh, very poetic. Like, Peter is amazing. Oh, Peter is amazing from his days in the English Premier League to World Cups. Like his lines just stay with you. I remember
Was it Bafana in the
2010?
World Cup?
There's so many moments. Roma, Bafana. I think when Russia in the 2018 World Cup, and it's like, Russia will dance all night. His lines like stick with you. Like it's just.
Did he also do the famous Aguero moment?
Was it? Yes.
Yes, it does happen.
When they won the league.
Yes.
I think it was definitely Peter. Yeah, Peter. Yeah, it was Peter when Aguero scored in in the dying minutes.
Yes.
I think he's an amazing storyteller. Like, he keeps you glued to your screens. You listen to what he has to say. You look forward.
This is where you see the preparation, right?
Exactly. You look forward to his commentary because you're like, oh, it's Peter Drury. Yes. You know? So, yeah, definitely my all-time favorites.
Lindiwe, it's been a great pleasure. And like I said, like, we'd really love to see you again.
You'll see me on your screens.
You do
on fan base, weekday, on Sundays, and then obviously match day live on other days.
Lovely. And really good luck.
Look at me selling myself.
No. Tell them good to see you. But on a higher note, though, it's been great having you here. Wishing you all the best, and keep the passion burning, right? Because that's definitely, I think, one thing that I've learned about you today is that you really love what you're doing and you go in it with some great passion.
Thank you so much, Sipho. This was lovely. I was saying off air, it's my first interview in over 2 years, and what an honor to be sitting alongside, someone I grew up watching, someone who's been in the industry for years. So maybe you give me like a few tips on longevity. What has helped you stay in the industry?
And you're interviewing me now?
No, just one question.
Being true to yourself.
100%.
Staying true to yourself.
Right? Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you very much, sir. Yeah.
Thank you. That's so fun. Thank you.